The first 100,000 is the hardest. Is this a comment you've heard before? Achieving financial freedom is a marathon, and for many of us, the first few kilometers are the most challenging. The $100,000 milestone is often seen as a turning point where you gain a second win and everything speeds up. How is this so? Well, let us find out in this episode. So, why is the first 100,000 the hardest? Given that most people only have income from employment to use towards expanding their capital base, the first 100,000 is the hardest. An employee is therefore transferring their earnings into an investment or savings account. That initial 100,000 is frequently only six figures worth of labor, time, and effort that you sold to your staff member. This is not a simple route. If your first $100,000 is not in a retirement fund, it is typically money you save after taxes. Thus, depending on your tax bracket, your paycheck is calculated after taxes, which slows down the process because you're trying to use your money after the government deducts its share. Furthermore, you might not be aware of the best ways to invest your money early to support its growth if you are a young, inexperienced person. At the beginning of their careers, people typically earn less money overall, so a larger portion of their income is typically allocated to paying bills compared to those who earn more later in life. A young person cannot easily accumulate a fast $100,000 early because it is also very expensive to start a family. Reliability and long-term self-control, both of which are difficult, are frequently the sources of that first 100,000. If you feel ready, take notes on the topic to make the most progress. Next, it's just mathematics. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. This is a famous quotation by Albert Einstein which highlights the strength of a key principle of personal finance and investing, earning a profit on what it was the initial amount of investment as well as the total amount of profit that was generated from the moment when the first investment was made. The mathematical formula is simple. Future value equals present value, 1 plus annual rate of return to the power of time and years. Many ask it to be the eighth wonder of the world, but is it really? Well, let's figure it out. If something offers an annualized rate of return of 5%, you would be able to make an additional $5,000 without any extra work within 1 year. After 10 years, you will have a wealth of about $64,701 added to your assets if you stick to the plan. In total, you will have almost $165,000. Your money is up 65% with no additional efforts from your side. According to this formula, if you start saving money for retirement right now, by the time you retire, your money will be worth more than 9 times what it is at present already. If you invested $10,000 at the start, $500 will be added to the total after 1 year, and about $6,000 more after 10 years, if the assumed annual rate of return is 5%. There is growth, but let me be clear, it is not anything amazing or mind-blowing. Well, it doesn't take long to learn that saving money is very important if you want to be financially independent. So you ready to master your money? Like this video and subscribe for weekly insights. The first 100,000 depends on your efforts to save. Hence, achieving 100,000 is said to be the hardest target because as you're starting your journey to financial freedom, the initial amount is small, and the time it takes to grow money is too little to benefit from the long-term effect discussed before. Most likely, the factor that will considerably impact your chance of attaining the first $100,000 would be your savings. This means that even if you achieve your goal of saving $10,000 yearly at $833 per month, you have to wait almost 8 years and 3 months to have $100,000 at a 5% investment yield. 80% of your savings will be needed for this amount, and the rest, 20%, will come from compounding. When you move from your first 100,000 on your way to 200,000, the role of saving decreases, and it contributes to 2/3 of the total amount. Once you hit the 200,000 mark, things become much easier. You'll make $10,000 at 5% return in your first year. If you had $2 million, that means your return will be $100,000. Charlie Munger, the billionaire investor, gave the investing advice. It's a B, but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. Why does 100K matter so much? I mean, why is that figure so important? Or more to the point, why is it all that many people are looking to achieve, especially when so many investors and savers aim much, much higher? Well, Munger failed to expand on just how much 100K could generate, standing still, if not mentioned growing over time. Even if investing at a small 5% rate, you didn't have to contribute a dime during 21 years of that savings account to be worth $278,596, according to modern-day compound interest calculators like this one. The lesson is that the path to the first $100,000 and the road to earning the next $100,000, after that really counts. Look at this example. Debbie, a young worker with good spending and investing habits, would reach a net worth of $100,000 in just under 8 years if she put $10,000 to her employer's 401k plan every year and got a 7% net rate of return. Now, things start to get interesting. Debbie would only need to invest the same amount of money every year for 5 years to earn $100,000 at the same rate of return. So, Debbie learns a good lesson that sets her on a path of either steady saving or compound interest to reach $100,000 and raise her net worth accordingly. In fact, some people do wonder why $100,000 is such a big deal compared to, say, $90,000 or $95,000. You can always count on a tough fight for the $5,000 or $10,000 prize, but there is also a lot of mental showmanship. A lot of people like round numbers. Don't you agree? Of course, there's no real point at which $100,000 is more valuable than $99,999, but the psychological value of $100,000 can't be argued with either. Is a goal to reach 6 figures in salary or other forms of wealth accumulation, as opposed to 5 figures. It's not easy to get to $100,000, especially if you're young. So how long will it take you to save for your first $100,000? You might not be able to reach your $100,000 goal if you don't plan on spending and making a budget that lets you pay yourself first and save for a separate account. The first step is to save money every week in a disciplined and focused way. You can only do this if you're in charge of your money. The bad news is that you will be able to reach your goals faster if you make more money. It takes half as long to reach a 6-figure account if you can save $10,000 a year instead of $5,000 a year. Maximize your chances of making money. When your accounts aren't very big, investing could also be a good idea. By putting your money into solid companies, stock indices, or companies that you know best, like those in your line of work, over time you can end up with more money overall. If you make smart investments that start compounding your money early on, you can reach your $100,000 goal faster. Consider 401k retirement plans if you're not going to use money right away as another way to speed up the process of getting your first $100,000 in capital. In the US, almost all big companies, and some very big companies, have traditional 401k match programs. These plans help people save for retirement by matching the amount an employee puts into the plan. The employer will also pay taxes on the money. A typical 401k has a downside in that you have to pay income tax and early withdrawal penalty on the money you take out before you can use it. On the other hand, it is a fast way to reach $100,000. Thanks for learning. Remember that getting the first $100,000 may feel like climbing a steep hill, but once you get there, progress will push you forward. If you found this episode useful, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be updated on future financial ideas. If you want to put money into real estate, then you should know about these overlooked risks. View the video to learn the truth about putting money into real estate.